So this is John Story with the Dro campaign. Sorry about the confusion for the link tonight. And I want to get things started quickly and let you know that if you have any events that or people that you think Charlie should meet, please get in contact with us. My phone number is 717-495-0120, and I'd be glad to take your call. And Charlie, fresh back from Florida and CPAC, welcome.
Thank you, John. It was a great time down in Florida. I hope some of you had the opportunity to see bits and pieces of CPAC. I was privileged as the vice chairman of CPAC to be on stage every day, starting with Thursday being the warm-up act for Ron DeSantis, where I talked about the really core principles of our conservative movement, most notably individual liberty and personal freedom. And those seem to be, no, they don't seem to be, they are concepts that are really ringing loud and clear with voters across Pennsylvania. Everywhere I go, people want to ask about ballot integrity and personal freedom and individual liberty. And so at the close of CPAC, right before Donald Trump Jr. went on, I chaired a panel on election integrity with Pam Bondi, the former Attorney General of Florida, who fought so many battles for President Trump, and with Sarah Carter, the investigative reporter from Fox News, and with Congressman Jody Hice, who's now running for Secretary of State in Georgia. And just parenthetically, I know we're here tonight to talk about the petition process, and I'm so very, very grateful to all of you for participating in that. But just one quick footnote, because a lot of folks don't realize that Pennsylvania is relatively unique in that the governor appoints the Secretary of State here. Only 9 states in the union do that. And I've pledged throughout this campaign to make sure that whomever I appoint as Secretary of State is going to be a person who has experience running elections. That's probably a county commissioner, but not necessarily so, but who is equally committed to following the law, not to making up the rules as we go. So whoever he or she is going to be somebody who knows how to run elections, knows the rules, and will play by the rules. So back to petitions and my sincere thanks. I can't tell you how happy I am to hear from Peg and from John that our people are out working the streets. That's where this all happens. A lot of folks like to talk about grassroots campaigns, but actually running one is a very different thing. And all of you are making that magic happen. And for that, I am incredibly grateful. We're off to a really good start, but I'm a great believer in the law of the farm, as Steve Covey used to call it, meaning that if you water the plants every single day, they grow. If you deluge them with water once a week, they die. So every single day, we need to be at this. We need to be increasing our numbers, both of circulators and of actual signatures every single day. So I hope that for the next 2 weeks, all of you, each of us, is committed to getting that done. I am certainly incredibly thankful for each and every one of you for all that you're doing. And all I can say is thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll give you back to Peg. She's the boss.
Thanks, Charlie.
Okay, thank you all so much for joining us. My husband says you can always tell an Irish girl, but you can't tell her much. So I guess we're off to the races. For those of you who are new to this, on our website at charlieforgovernor.com, there's a button that says circulate petitions. If you click on it, there'll be a form that you can all ignore because I already have all your names. Scroll down and you will see petition frequently asked questions, FAQ. It will look like this. It's just a long form and it's all the different questions that you could possibly ask. So before we look at the petition, I kind of want to walk through some of the basics with you. Question 1, do you have to be a registered Republican to circulate or sign a petition? You do. So you need to ask people what their voting registration is. Are they a Democrat or Republican? You must be a registered Republican. You must live in the county to sign a petition from that county. You do not have to live in the county to circulate a petition in that county. You just have to live in the state of Pennsylvania as a registered Republican. So you can circulate petitions from more than one county. I know people who live near a county line and they've got friends on both sides. Carry a petition from both counties, ask them which one they live in. We've got a circulator who's a college professor and his students are registered to vote in a number of counties. That's fine. There is no limit to the number of counties that you can circulate a petition in, but you may only sign the petition in the county in which you live. You can only sign for one gubernatorial candidate. So if you signed for one, you're done. If someone signs for more than one, they count the last dated signature as the valid one. So don't encourage people to sign in more than one county, but if somebody mistakenly does, they count the last one as valid. No one can use dittos or hash marks on a petition. Every single line and every single space must be filled out. Husbands and wives do this a lot. Whichever one signs first, they live in the same house. So the second one will just put the little ditto marks. They can't do that. They have to sign, everybody has to fill out every single block on the petition. When we get to the petition and look at it, there's a date. It's very important that the dates be correct. If the dates are out of order, if somebody signs March the 1st, March the 3rd, March the 2nd, anything that comes after the March the 3rd line that is dated before March the 3rd is invalid. If they actually look at it to make sure they're in date order. One of our county coordinators takes a little Post-it note and puts it at the top of the petition right above that column that lists the date on it. So people can look at it and see. If you don't want to do that, stand there and tell them the date. It's really easy to get the date wrong because we kind of lose track. So tell them the date. People should sign the signature block the way their name appears on their voter registration card. For almost everybody, that's going to match their driver's license. So tell them to sign their legal name just as they would list it on their driver's license. If somebody makes a mistake, just have them cross out the whole line. You just need to put a line through it. The state then just doesn't, they just discount that line completely. When you get to the municipality, it's where you vote. So for example, my mailing address says Johnstown, but I vote in Brownstown Borough. You would list Brownstown Borough. List the place where you vote. There is no minimum number of signatures that anybody needs. If you sign the petition and that's all you can do, sign it, turn it over, and fill out the affidavit that we'll look at in a minute and send it back to us. You can get up to 30 signatures on a petition. You can circulate as many petitions as you want. There's no limit on how many petitions you can circulate. There's also no bottom limit on how many signatures you must have on a petition in order for it to be valid or send it back. Someone signing a petition does not mean that person is voting for Charlie. It just means they're giving him the opportunity to get on the ballot. They don't have, this is not an endorsement and it's not a vote. It's just saying, I want to allow him to run for the office. So it's the lowest level of commitment. And people go, well, I don't really know what he thinks. You can tell them what he thinks, but you don't want to get into a long conversation at this point. What you're saying is, well, during the campaign, you'll find out. This is an opportunity to hear from him. Signing a petition does not mean you're voting for the candidate. If someone puts false information on a petition, that invalidates it. So make sure that the petition is, as much as you possibly can, accurate. If you have a captain in your town or your county who's talking to you, give your petition back to them. If you got your petition directly from us, either email or call. Most of you have my personal number, and we'll make arrangements to pick it up. You can overnight the petition. do not put the petition in the United States mail. We last week got an envelope in the mail that had been postmarked in December, and we got it at the end of February. You can't turn these in late. As soon as you're done with your petition, give it to us. Don't hold it until the last minute. Our deadline for filing is March 15th. You need to think about being finished with your petitions on March 13th. So we have time to collect them, put them together. We have a lot of bureaucratic stuff we have to do to take them to the state. If you are done with your petitions before that, if you have a filled petition right now, get it to us, because then we can start the process of collating and putting them together. Doing it at the last minute is always the most difficult. You have the most opportunity for mistakes, and frankly, the people over at the Department of State don't like it when you do everything at the last minute, so they tend to be more picky. You start turning things in early, they're much more likely to work with you. So don't wait. As soon as you're done with the petition, send it to us. Now, John, can you bring up the petition and then we'll walk through it for folks? Okay, so this is a petition. The top of the petition is all filled out. If you go to the website, every single county's petition is listed on the website. The petitions are in alphabetical order. You just have to select the pages that you want. You must print them on letter-sized paper, double-sided, head-to-head. The state will not accept legal paper, and they will not accept petitions that are printed on two separate sheets. It has to be a double-sided piece of paper, and it means the top of both sides has to be the top. It can't be, one can't be upside down to the other. So it has to be head-to-head, double-sided, letter-sized paper. You will see that there are barcodes. John, can you scroll down a little bit? At the top and the bottom, the barcodes have to be included when you print it, because the state uses those. That's how they are sure that the petition is actually one that came from them. You will see, we're looking at the front page. So the signature of the elector comes first. Then beside it, they print the name exactly as they signed it. So they're going to sign it and then print it. Address. That first little block is the number. So I live at 206. That box will just say 206. The middle column is the name of the street. So it would say Habbock Street for me. And then the next column is not my mailing address. It is where I vote. Now, if you live in a big city, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Harrisburg, that's all you need to put. You don't need to put a ward number or a precinct number. If you vote in a ward in a big city, the city is enough. But if you vote in a township or a borough, put the name of the township or the borough. Ask the people, where do you go to vote? And they'll say, oh, I go to the Hampton Township Fire Hall. Then you put Hampton Township. Ask them the location. And then the date. Remember, the date is critically important. They cannot be out of order. So you can either give them a Post-it note or you can tell them the date while you're standing there. When you're done with your petitions, do not put a page number on the petition. Do you see at the very bottom, it says page blank side 1. We put the page numbers on because we have to count every single petition, and every one is in order given a page number. So that's why we need them early, because we have to physically, by hand, fill in all of those page numbers. So don't put a page number on your petition. John, scroll down. When you are finished, on the second page, it's called Statement of Circulator. You do not need a notary. You put the county of the petition signers. That may or may not be the county where you live. It's the county where the people who signed live. Then you print your name just as it appears on your voter registration. Then you sign it. Then you put your number and your street, and then you have to put where you vote. So it's your borough or township, or if you're in a big city, and your zip code. You don't have to put the state. The Department of State looks at matches your zip code with your borough or township, and that's how they know you are a registered Republican voter in the state of Pennsylvania. You don't need a witness. You don't need a notary. You just need to sign that, and then you can send that back to us. If you live near Harrisburg and you want to bring it to our headquarters at 123 State Street, that's wonderful. You can just drop it off. If you got your petition from a captain, call your captain and tell them you're done, and they'll make arrangements to get it back from you. We additionally have drivers. My husband has spent the day driving all over the state that can come and pick it up when you're done. You just need to let us know so we can send someone to pick it up if you're not dealing with a captain or you're not really close to Harrisburg. The most important thing about this is to do it. There's no magic. Some people are knocking on doors. Some people are telling me, you know, I know who all the Republicans in my neighborhood are. I'm having a coffee, like an open house coffee on a Sunday afternoon. And I called all my neighbors and they're just stopping in to sign the petition and have a nice cup of coffee and some coffee cake with us. That's wonderful. Some people are standing outside of churches if the church will allow you. You're not endorsing a candidate, so you're not breaking any rules. Some people are taking them with them to different organizations and then letting the folks at the organization sign the petitions. Some counties are doing petition signing events at the county. And if you are in a county, look at your county website. Maybe you want to help man a table at your county's petition signing event. And that way you get a bunch of signatures in one place. If you are a really shy and retiring person, don't take that option. You need to be kind of a chatty person to get people to talk to you about it. If you need literature, let us know and we'll make sure you get some. If you need a walking list, let us know and I will email you a list. I can sort it so that it's every house on the same street in order. So you're not bouncing all over the place. You can walk up and down the street and that makes it easy for you to walk. And we can get those to you. It usually takes me about 10 minutes to put the list together and download it. You may not be first in line, but you'll have it within an hour almost generally. Think about events that you're going to. Don't be afraid to knock on doors. Most people enjoy getting the company. I've knocked on literally thousands of doors in my lifetime. Make sure you have a couple of pens with you because you don't want a pen to run out of ink. So bring a couple of pens, put the petition on a clipboard so that people have something to lean on. And bring a couple of petitions with you so that if you run out of one, you automatically have another one. So just put them one after another. And it's always nice to have a blank sheet of paper underneath it. It makes it easier for a pen to work on the clipboard. I'm going to stop here and open it up for questions. And that way, if there's other things that I didn't cover that you want to talk about, feel free you can either put a question in the chat or John, if you want to unmute and let people talk, we can do that too.
Sure. Hey, Peg, I have one question. Actually, more of a statement. On the petition and for the circulator, if they have a PO box, they may not use it. Is that correct?
That is correct. It says number and street. You
Right.
can, remember, this is not mailing address. This is your physical address. And that's a good question, John. We should probably add that to the FAQ. So I'll do that tomorrow. The state wants your physical address, not your mailing address. So it doesn't matter if the mailman puts your mail in a post office box, put the number and street where you live, even if you don't get your mail there. Good question. Next.
Yeah, folks, if you have a question, feel free to write it in chat or you're going to have to unmute yourself. It's in the lower left-hand corner of your computer for most of you.
Okay. Up until now, the campaign has been in Charlie's hands. Starting last Friday, the campaign moved into our hands. In the end, Charlie getting on the ballot or not depends completely upon us. So the campaign now belongs to us. Yes, Christine, the walking list will give you, I will sort it. So you only get the registered Republicans. So you can knock on every single door on the list that I give you because everybody on the list will be, in fact, a registered Republican. I sort out the Democrats for everybody. I can get the Democrats, but there's no point in doing that right now. So these are folks that are currently registered Republicans, meaning their signatures will be valid. The legal requirement for us is that we have to have 2,000 signatures, and we have to have 100 from each of 10 different counties. 100 is not enough. Our opponents will challenge if they think they can knock enough signatures off to eliminate Charlie from the ballot. So we are aiming at least 15 counties with at least 300 signatures. The more signatures that you have, the less likely it is for anybody to even mount a challenge at all, because they'll look at it and say, we can't knock enough off, so we're not even going to try. It also sends a message through the media and to everybody in the state that Charlie's campaign is a force to be reckoned with. Now, I will tell you that we began with almost 100 people in the street in over 30 counties. Since then, I sent that out to you last night. We've added 8 more counties to the list and more people signing. And we already have at least 2 counties that have topped their 100 minimum. So you don't want to be last, do you? Let's get those signatures in, and we will have a lovely prize for the folks who have a full petition. We're creating a brand new t-shirt that will be just delightful, and we'll be unveiling it. We just approved the design, so we'll be unveiling it later this week for you to see it, to become a member of Charlie Company and move this conversation forward past the petitions. So do the best you can. Every signature you get is a signature we did not have before you got it. So don't think that there are too few, but see how close you can get to filling an entire petition. And if you think you can get 100 by yourself, you'll be my favorite person that day. And everyone knows that's an important thing, to be one of my favorite people that day. So let's get in the street. Campaigns in the end are won and lost in the street. They're not won on television. They're not won or lost on radio. They're won or lost in the street. And I will tell you, I've now talked all across the state. We are the campaign that is in the street right now, making a difference for Charlie. I thank every single one of you for being willing to step up. Let's bring this home for him. He's certainly given his all for us. So let's bring this home for him. I don't see any other questions. So I thank you all for joining me, and good night.